Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, collectors of all ages, welcome once again to AussieVerse. I am OmniBeau, joined by my partner in crime, Mark Grodd Watson. How you going, champ?
Oh, I'm doing good, OmniBeau. How are you, my friend?
Oh, mate, it has been a long week, let me tell you. I am tired as hell. What about you?
Yeah, the weeks seem to be getting longer. They really do. You wake up, it's dark. Yeah.
Let's go. Oh, mate, I wish I knew who you were, Facebook user, but thank you for the support. For some reason, when you comment on Facebook, it doesn't tell you exactly who you are. Now, just remember, this is AussieVerse Comics and Collectors, all designs done by A51 Designs. Please like and subscribe. You can check us out on Instagram at AussieVerse Comics Collectors. And we are proudly sponsored by Comx Studios. Check out this website for all of your Australian comic book needs. I like to say it is Australians' comic books' best friend, with the database on there for everything that you could ever want to know. You want to see upcoming Kickstarters? Check out this link right here. You want to see the latest Kickstarters? Check out this link right here. They have some amazing things there going through. Oh, it is just unbelievable, the stuff that they're producing. And I'm not just saying that because they're friends of ours.
Yep.
What have we got here? We have love your Trivium shirt, Mark.
Thank you. It is my favourite band. So, yeah, I got Trivium tattoo. So, sorry, can't get that right. There we are.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, today we have a very special guest hailing all the way from Melbourne. I say that like we're not really here. He is the admin and creator of Grail Hunters Australia, the one, the only Neville Tiberius, Odin's son, Howard. Ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, guys? I'm like, I need an entry song after that. There needs to be like fucking fireworks and everything. Hey, well, thanks for having me. Well, I'm here. My feet's wet from the beer I just spilled for my entry song, but that's all right. How you guys going?
Yes, Nev. It's really great that you're here, mate.
Good.
What's been happening on your end?
Oh, look, man. I heard you guys saying you've had a busy week. It's only Monday, so I think everybody's had a fucking busy Monday. But as far as comics collecting and everything else goes, it's been pretty busy, man. I'm good. I'm glad to see things like Supernova's back. We had 2 panels there. They actually literally just sent me the recordings over the weekend. Got so many things going on Grail Hunters, obviously, that we'll talk about later. But in terms of collecting and reading and stuff, man, I am trying to catch up because I think I'm overbuying at the moment. I'm sure, I don't know if you guys have had that. I like the idea of reading all the books, and I also like the idea of reading shit that I haven't read for 10 years, like Batman, but I still collect it. So you flick through it and you throw it away. But yeah, man, it's keeping me busy. And obviously maths 5 nights a week. Jesus, when am I going to watch real TV?
Mate, I got addicted to maths 1 year, and I hated myself for it, but I did. And once it was over, I promised I'd never watch it again.
Isn't it funny though? Like, the season's not even over yet, and they have a reunion, and you're like, who the fuck are these people? I haven't seen them because they were out like week 2. It's like, I don't know who these people are. So their relevance fade quite quickly. That's for sure. It is slapstick entertainment more than anything, right?
Yeah. Now, before we do get onto all about Neville and Grail Hunters, let's do our usual segment here with what have we bought recently, what have we watched recently, and what are we reading. Let's take a look at bought recently. Take it away, Mark.
So we are doing a haul video tomorrow night, so I'm going to save my majority of my weeks because it was a bit of a light week this week. But there is one that I want to show off because I really like the cover. So this came out this week, so Rogues.
Oh, what's that?
So this is going to be a Black Label Prestige book by Joshua Williamson. It is a Captain Cold story, but as he gets older.
Oh, nice.
Apparently. And he is going to, apparently at the end, like he's got a bit of a beef with Gorilla Grodd. And so these are my 2 favourite villains, to be honest. So.
Even I'd be interested in that because I love the villain books.
Yeah. So they're the oversized ones. So I haven't read it yet. I only just picked it up on Saturday. But yeah, it's only 4 issues. But yeah, that cover, seriously, I said,
It looks great, eh?
yeah, I kind of want to frame it afterwards because, as I said, as I've said on previous episodes, Captain Cold is my favourite character, just of all comics. So, and Gorilla Grodd will obviously, thanks, Simon. And I based some of my name on Gorilla Grodd. So yeah, a Captain Cold versus Gorilla Grodd. Apparently, he gathers up all the other old rogues, and they're all like senior citizens. They're in their 60s.
Oh,
So,
wow.
seems like it's going to be fun. So,
how many issues is it?
4.
Nice.
So,
all right.
It's a really good concept, eh? It's a really good concept. I like the fact that you can go there, you know. Yeah, I'll share a picture with you. I drew like a semi-Jim Lee inspired Captain Cold that's been screwed up by, messed up by Batman to the nth degree, where he's kind of over, he's all bandaged and shit. So I'll share that in the comments on the chat. You guys can check it out.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Cool.
Like, they're already up to 1,041. Wow. Seems like yesterday Action Comics was at 1,000 Zelda.
Yeah, I did buy that, but I think that's on my reading list because I read it actually last night.
Awesome. Anything else there, mate?
No, well, that's all I'll show for now because I just love it.
All right, take it away, Nev.
Oh, look, I've been obviously chasing the JLA Avengers trade, and I was very, very, very lucky because Mark at Big City Comics in Southwest Melbourne secured me a copy. He actually ordered for everybody he wanted, but I just was lucky that I was the first or second person there, and he got short ordered too. So getting my hands on that and just the nostalgia of being able to go through that again, because I sold my original ones probably 15 years ago, right, in some auction and on Longbox or Comic League Australia or something to fund either drinking habits or other comics. So I've had remorse since then, and I'm very happy that I'm able to find something that could replace it that's actually almost more special because all the money goes to the Heroes Initiative that Perez have co-started. So I just finished reading that. I binge read the Spider-Man, and when you were talking about Action Comics going from 1000 to 1041, this comes out every week, right? So
Yeah.
I don't go into the comic shop for like 6 weeks and there's 6 issues waiting, and if I haven't read the catch up, then all of a sudden I've got like 2 story arcs to catch up on. So I'm reading Spider-Man. My favorite read at the moment, guys, and I can't promote this enough. Tom King and Human Target. Check it out. It is absolutely the best read.
Really
it's the
man.
best read out there at the moment. The art's amazing. I think I've got it here because I just finished reading it. Check it out, man.
I heard something very controversial about Guy Gardner this week.
All right.
I have not read it.
As a guy that doesn't know much DC, what's Human Target?
Human Target, he's pretty much like a James Bond type of character, but what he does is he becomes the human target to deflect snipers and murderers from their actual victims. So in the story of this book is like he pretended to be Lex Luthor on stage because Lex Luthor expected to be shot in the head or something, and because Lex Luthor was on stage, he took the stage. He almost got shot, but he didn't. But he also got poisoned, and that's the story in the background. So now he's trying to figure out, was he poisoned because he was Lex Luthor, or was he poisoned because he's Human Target? And it's kind of it's a murder mystery, but he's not dead yet. But it's also the entire cast of the 80s Justice League, which obviously I'm in love with, the Keith Giffen era with Booster and Beetle and Fire and Ice and Guy Gardner and those guys. So it's really, really good, guys. It is so well written. And Ice, I think Ice is modeled after Shane and Dorothy of Beverly Hills. So I've got a crush on Ice in this book. So it's been going for 30 years now, right? So it's good. Yeah. So that's my favorite reads at the moment. I read quite a few indie ones. I'm reading Silver Coin at the moment, which is a really good read. It's like a horror anthology. Yeah, so that's probably my top 3, I'd say, aside of obviously the Marvel stuff like Thor that I can't put down, and Venom and Hulk's pretty good.
Oh, nice. That's good to hear, man, because I wasn't sure whether you read current comics or you were just addicted to the keys and things like that. So it's good to see.
yeah. Look, I was going to make a joke about who the fuck reads comics these days, because obviously that's not my focus when I post and talk comics. But I do read a lot of comics, man. I buy more than I can read, and when I do, like Mike Swindles sold me Justice League Quarterly 1 to 17, and I read these in the 80s. So they're on my read pile at the moment, and
nice.
I can't wait, man. They're like $2 books, but the quality of the art and the story is just up there.
We all love Mark.
Really, really
I want to get him on the show one day. He's a great guy. Shout out to Donovan. Thank you very much for joining us, mate, and talking pop culture. Very good for you. Thank you very much. Should have seen me. Should have won the 1K. I tried like 3 comic stores to get Avengers JLA. I even went to Mark from Big City Comics. I'm kind of disappointed I didn't get the trade, but I got the singles, so I'm good. Yeah, look, Zelda, I'm actually quite surprised at how many people in our community, whether it be Grail Hunters or Aussie Omnibus collectors, managed to get a copy with only 7,000.
True.
Yeah.
7,000, and you know shops are holding them back too. So in distribution, there might be 6,000 at best. And many of the comic shops like Marla Comics and a few of the big ones, they'd probably be sitting on 100 at a time, and they auction them off one at a time with the money in the proceeds going to your initiative. So good on them for doing it, but it just takes it just removes the ability for the general reader to access one, right? I heard even some shops selling it for $300, which is crazy.
Yeah,
because they're going for 300 US at the moment on eBay too. So I guess shops can do it too, as long as they play it right and not pocket the money. You know, if they send the money to the charity as it's intended, then that's a good outcome.
Yeah, I was actually really grateful that this is one of the things that I didn't need because I have the original trade. So I would have been going nuts with this if I didn't have it. So I really feel for people like Zelda that wanted a copy and didn't manage to get one. Hopefully you can pick one up later down the track. But as you said, you got the singles, so at least you've got the story.
That's it, man. That's it. And the singles, they're special as it is, right? Because they were 15 years in the making. From 1984, the originals, they drew the first few issues and never published it, and then they rewrote and redrew it again. So it took 15 years for those issues that came out eventually to come out. Wow. And by that time, like guys like Perez and them had done it twice before already. so even the backstory on how it came about is really special, because I mean it's DC and Marvel, two giants in the industry, teaming up. You don't get that often.
Yeah. I still think 2 of those covers out of the 4 are just absolutely iconic. Obviously, the one that's every character, absolutely all of Perez. That is just absolutely amazing. And I can't help but love the Superman with the
hammer. Yes, dude,
absolutely.
Me being a DC geek growing up, that just gave you goosebumps when you because I mean I love Marvel now, and Thor's one of my favorite characters, and I grew up with Superman. So to see that those 2 worlds collide in that manner, it was really, really special. And it's not something you'd see unless it's like in Artist Alley, right? Some bootleg copy or creation from somebody by special request.
All right. Well, I have got nothing to show you that I've bought recently because we're doing the haul video tomorrow, and I have a stack of stuff to show. So I pulled out 3 Delotto covers that I wanted to show off because Delotto is my favorite artist, and I went, you know what? I've got to show something. You know,
he's quality, man. Quality.
Yeah, man. I love it. So we've got The Secret Invasion, which is getting a bit of hype lately due to the show coming out. I love that cover. That is just...
That's cool.
It's my favorite event as well. My favorite Marvel event.
Yeah.
Next one is Iron Fist. Thanks to you, Mark. You've really got me on an Iron Fist kick lately. And I love the emotion in this portrayal.
You should check the black and white variant of that cover. It is amazing. Like his work is just doesn't get better, man.
Yeah. And the last one, oh no, I've got 2 more. No, one more. Was this Secret Empire one, which a lot of people hated the story. I loved it. And I remember when this cover came out, I just had to get it. Just Captain America sitting there pondering, you know?
Yeah.
So that's not what I've bought recently, but that's what I'm showing off today. What else we got? We'll go now to what are we watching, hey? I may as well stay around here. Guess what? On Saturday, we went to Moulin Rouge, Claudia and I, my partner. We won cheap $30 tickets, and that was a bit scandalous. And it was very, very enjoyable. I highly recommend it to anybody, but I don't blame people for giving me crap for saying Moulin Rouge is not my thing. But it was very cool, man. I really enjoyed it. Other than that, we've started watching. I got this for Christmas last year, so I've finally started watching Dragon Ball Super on Blu-ray. I fucking love this show, man. Like, I've only watched a few episodes so far, but I love Dragon Ball. Mark, what have you been watching, mate?
I watched last night. I watched the Adam Project, the Ryan Reynolds one, on Netflix.
That was good.
Yeah, the time traveling one. Yeah, it was a bit sadder than I thought it was going to be, but it was all right. It had a few jokes in it. It's just a Ryan Reynolds movie, isn't it? But I imagine, like, what would the world be like if we didn't get Ryan Reynolds? Like, how different will the movie industry be? Like, he's just, he's good. I watched Superman and Lois, CW, so I caught up on that.
Yep.
A lot of family drama, mainly they're focusing on at the moment, which is a little bit boring.
Is it end of season 1 that you're catching up on?
No, the actual recent season. So season 2, I've seen season 1.
Oh, I didn't even know season 2 started, so that's how far behind I am. Damn it.
Yeah, I think they're 8 episodes in, so they already did a story arc of Pizarro.
Yeah.
And there's sort of a new lady villain in there. I'm not sure where it's going, but they're focusing more on the family drama at the moment. So it's kind of what CW does sometimes when they're running out of options.
Oh, do they ever?
Yeah. And also they got to control some budget, right? So it's like we can't have people destroying buildings and throwing planets around every day.
Well, I talked about Batwoman last week, and that was the season finale. They had a little bit of a teaser of what the villain's going to be next season, and I'm just going, CW are not going to be able to afford that. It's going to look really crap. I don't want to spoil who it is, but it's a character that they're not going to have the graphics for. So, yeah.
Raised by Wolves, that is the shit.
It's a really good show.
Yeah, it's a good show, that too.
Also, because I've been watching the TV series, Lethal Weapon, I went back and watched Lethal Weapon 3, the old ones. So I actually really enjoyed it.
Did you keep going with the TV show, with Lethal Weapon? Did you keep going after the main guy moved on?
Yes, they did, because it's Sean William Scott now.
Yeah.
The Stifler from American Pie. So it's not as good. The first guy that was in the original first 2 seasons was amazing as Riggs. So
and apparently he was like that behind camera too, and that's why he got moved on. I actually read up about it because I really, really enjoyed it. And when they replaced him, I was like, "What the fuck's going on?" I don't know if you can swear, but what the hell's going on?
You can swear now.
That explains a lot, because I was thinking that the other day. Like,
apparently, it was a bit of a liability, and and you know what? Talented as hell, though, man. He was such a good replacement. Like, if you had to recast Mel Gibson into a body of a 30-something-year-old detective with issues, that guy was perfect for it. And he had the best hair. I must say, he had the best fucking hair.
And mustache.
Yeah. He looked like an Aussie, by the way. He looked like some Aussie working in a craft brewery more than anything.
He had that smart ass charm to him, didn't he? It was so good. Yeah, and I was thinking that the other day, like, why hasn't he got more gigs? Because he does have good camera charisma.
Quality. Yeah, maybe it's just not made for TV. He needs to do 1.5 or 2 hours at time, or Netflix or something. I hope he comes back. Like, he was good quality. I enjoyed that show.
Me too. Yeah.
And while you're here, mate, what are you reading at the moment? Is it? Well, you just said it with the Captain Coldwin, didn't you?
Well, I did say one of them. All right, I'll start off with Marvel, I guess, to start with. So, Devil's Reign, number 4.
Yep.
Number 5, sorry. Wasn't a fan of this issue. It's been an okay series so far, but I feel like this one was just a filler. Not a lot happened. So, yeah, a bit disappointed in that one, because the series has been good so far. I brought Iron Man, Volume 1, the trade of the new one.
There's some good covers with Iron Man.
Yeah, it's good, man. They're really doubling down on quality in some of these books these days, eh?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I didn't like this that much, so I won't be picking up Volume 2. I thought I'd give it a go. Just wasn't for me. Although it ended on a cliffhanger, and I kind of want to know what happens. Maybe I'll come back to it one day. But also, I read Carnage #1 this week.
How was that?
That was really good. Really good. Like,
Okay.
really good start. So you had 2 stories going on. So you had the detective, Jonathan Slade, his name is. So he's investigating a murder. And apparently the murder's by this Kenneth Neely, who is called the Artist. And apparently he's an old mass murderer. So the artist, Kenneth Neely, is trying to get Carnage's attention because he's no longer bonded with Cletus Cassidy. So he's trying to go out there and do his best work, artist of murders. And so he can get Carnage's attention so they can bond and they can really turn chaos. But yeah, and this is the detective following him. So it's 2 different parts, 2 different stories. You got the detective story and then you got the artist story. And it's a good start. I said it's only issue 1, so it's a start. Yeah, really enjoyed it.
I don't dig the whole non-Cletus Cassidy Carnage, though.
Well, in this, Carnage admits that he misses Cletus.
Oh, God, okay.
It wasn't quite as good.
So we've gone from the most savage version of Carnage to missing his human host. That's 2022 in a nutshell.
So I'll move on to DC. I'll just skim through a couple of these. Deep Target. This is Aquaman and Green Arrow series, limited series. This is issue #4. I actually cut this a couple of months ago, so I finally got around to reading this because I knew I was going to pick up the next one. I didn't like it to start with, but to be honest, this was the best issue I've read. So
Fair enough.
I might pick it up. I've been reading War of Earth 3, so it's the first. So this is a crossover. You've got a crossover with Suicide Squad.
I saw that on the shelf, eh? That Suicide Squad logo, it just goes straight back to 1988, eh? The old retro one. It's really good.
Yeah. And then Flash is crossing over with it. And also Teen Titans is, and I didn't pick up the Teen Titans one, but it's basically Amanda Waller coming into Earth 3, which is the crime syndicate.
Yep.
Earth. And she wants to create her own Justice League. So she tries to get Ultraman to follow her so she can control him and stuff like that. And now Rick Flag's got his own Suicide Squad team to try and stop her.
Oh, that sounds cool. I love the
yeah. Mate, Rick Flag's team, Mirror Master, it had the Fisherman, Aquaman. You got Talon in there as well, William Cobb. What else do they have? He's got a really cool team together. Who else was there? Oh, yeah, and he's got Bloodsport and Peacemaker.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet. I'm going to have to grab that on trade or hardcover when it comes out, I think.
Definitely. And I've been reading Task Force Z.
Yep.
So that's okay. It's kind of another Suicide Squad thing, but it's zombies and Red Hood's leading the team.
Oh, cool.
And, the zombies are Bane, Bloodsport, Deadshot. You got a couple other characters. And Man-Bat. These are characters that are actually dead in continuity. So, yeah, there's some sort of serum. I don't want to give away too much.
There you go.
I'm just going to show you how old I am. I've got the first Task Force comics from the 90s. Also, Mike Swindle specials.
Black Comics in the house.
Hello, what?
Nice.
And Action Comics. I read this week as well. I picked it up this week. Read it straight away. I'm enjoying it.
Is it all about the off-Earth Superman, like away from the planet type of storyline?
Yeah, so he's fighting Mongol. So
okay.
But this is Mongol's son or infant. So he beat his dad to take the throne. He looks exactly the same, so it's Mongol. So
yeah.
But and Superman doesn't have powers there either. They're slowly dying. He can't recharge from the sun. It's okay. The art in it is phenomenal. And the writing's phenomenal too. It's just not moving anywhere quickly. There's a few like this one was mainly a Midnighter issue. So Midnighter's been around, and you've only just sort of heard what he's doing, and now this is the issue where it shows you what he's been doing. So yeah, it was kind of a.
Is that Midnighter, the Wildstorm Midnighter?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So they still use the characters. That's good.
Yeah, because they've got what's his partner's name?
Wow. What's his partner's name?
Forgot it again. I just read it last night.
No, I don't remember. But yeah, I love those two.
Yeah, he's
it's something like Sunlight or something. Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah. He's captured. So, and that's why he has invested into this World War. That's why he's there, and he wants to save him, and that's his only goal, really. And he butchers a few people, so it's quite brutal. So it's quite nice. And I read this one, the Hal Jordan Green Lantern's Corps, Volume 3. I really enjoyed this and really enjoying this series. I'm going to continue on to it. There was a really cool fight scene with Guy Gardner, Bare Knuckles.
In his Warriors t-shirt. Nice.
Yeah, he's got his Wolverines t-shirt.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying that. So yeah, that's been my week of reading so far.
Sweet, man. Guess who's back?
What's up?
All
right.
Go for it, Nev.
Yeah, so I kind of told you what I'm reading already, right? What I will tell you is what I'm watching. Shameless, I just binged season 11. I don't know if you guys have ever watched Shameless, the American version of it.
Everyone says it's fantastic.
It is absolutely fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. And you know what? They've kind of rotated cast to the point where, because they've never had a main character, it's about the family, right? But the leading adult left probably 3 seasons ago, but they write it so well that you almost don't notice it. The dad hangs around all the way through, and he kind of just doesn't die. He probably almost dies 3 or 4 times through the show and ends up not dying. And it's just a really, really good show, man. It's just the most real comedy drama that I've ever watched. It is so good. So we binged straight through that 12 episodes in 4 or 5 days. And then also Dave. Have you guys watched Dave on Binge?
No, I haven't actually.
I don't know if I'm just watching awkward shit, but you have to watch it. It's about a Jewish guy who wants to become a rapper.
Oh, really?
It's absolutely amazing. But it's also, his name's Little Dick, or Little Dave is his stage name, because he's got a little dick, and it's just absolutely amazing. Because it's actually one of the funniest written shows that I've ever seen. Every time we put it on, we're either late to go somewhere or forget to do something because you're watching too many episodes at a time. And then also, I was lucky enough to realize that it was 2 seasons behind Vikings, so we did a full season of Vikings too.
Oh, mate, I love that.
Yeah. It's not great for Neville after five or 6 beers running around with his Thor hammer, but aside of that, it's a really good show, man. It's again, because it's over the top violence and over the top drama and all that type of shit, but it's really good.
Mate, I love Vikings. Have you seen the new show's out? The prequel? No,
Valhalla. Yeah, Valhalla or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch.
So that's our next one. Yeah, after maths, obviously, I'll get into that.
Yeah.
1 week of maths left, and then life's back to normal.
You got priorities, yeah.
I'll just be on Instagram following the influencers, the new influencers after maths is done. But movie wise, TV wise, I would say Batman blew me away. I don't know if you guys spoke about Batman already in the first 3 live chats you've had, but I tell you, I went into it with 0 expectations. I wasn't too motivated to watch it in the first place because of the casting decisions, and I didn't watch the trailers because I didn't want spoilers, and just the history of DC not doing the right thing with their characters. I was like, I've got no hope. And then 3 hours later, it was just the best movie, right? It was the perfect Batman movie. I don't know how they did it. And like I told Bo before we started, I hope that they continue on this and they build on it, and not just universe build. I don't care about the universe build. I just want to a Batman build. I want a Batman trilogy or something in that theme that they've created now. It was amazing.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, great.
Well,
Have you guys watched any of the Oscar nominated movies?
It's funny you say that. I was just telling my partner before because Hizzy. I don't know if you know that YouTube channel, Hizzy. How It Should Have Ended.
I thought that's a Kanye sneaker.
They just did an animated short where all three Spider-Men are complaining that the fact that none of them got voted or nominated.
Okay.
And it showed all the movies that were voted, and I haven't seen any of them, man.
Nah.
None of them.
You know what? Can I tell you what I also watch offline in the background 24 hours a day is the war in Ukraine because it's morbid curiosity.
Yeah.
And actually BBC broke from Ukraine to talk about the Oscars. And the commentator actually said they were talking about the nominee for best movie and they were speculating about House of the Dog or something of the Dog being the best movie. Power of the Dog. Yeah. And I unfortunately already watched that, so I got his comment. He actually said it got a bit boring halfway through. And this is the guy who's supposed to be selling how good these movies are, saying it got a bit boring halfway through. And if you miss a little bit in the middle, you're not going to know what happens at the end. And that was probably me, because at that point in time, I was at the beer fridge, fucking at the back, getting the triple IPAs out because the movie was killing my soul. So don't bother watching him. That was shit ass.
The only one I do want to see is Coda, because everybody says it's great.
Yeah, apparently that's the only one that's not depressing. It's apparently a light-hearted take on life or something.
Yeah, but how can Spider-Man not be voted for it, mate? Like, one of the biggest movies of the year, made $2 billion. It makes no sense.
Yeah, it's not a popularity contest for them. For them, it's about how niche can we go, I think.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody can submit it on a Betamax video and have a B-grade actor star in it, maybe with a shaved eyebrow to make it different, then yeah, go for it. You'll be nominated. I just don't know what's going on with the world anymore. Yeah. At least Will Smith gave us some life in it, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, now it's some time. We've talked about all the usual jargon. Now it's all about getting into Neville Tiberius, Howard's head, about Grail Hunters Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching this show and you are not a member of Grail Hunters Australia, just like myself, I once had a dream to create a place where like-minded individuals could all gather together over the love of the omnibus and collected editions. Neville had the same dream, albeit when it comes to keys, collections, and that grail that everybody wants to go out and collect. And he decided to create his own little group. That little group became a very big group very quickly. And I've got to say, personally, I don't have much interaction with the group. But when you do watch the group, you see a lot of love in there. You see a lot of camaraderie, a lot of people giving each other friendly shit, which I always love to see. And these guys have grown incredibly. They've got their branded. I've seen skateboards. I've seen beer. I've seen their own Halo slabs. I've seen all sorts of Grail Hunters Australia stuff. There you go.
Sweet.
How about some whiskey?
I'm going to have to get a bottle of that, Nev.
Yeah.
Nev, tell us, mate, what was it that that made you want to create this group? A few of the answers might be a bit obvious, but
it might or might not be. But for me, it's like many of us, we belong to 50 buy swap style groups. We belong to what the fuck to say?
Give Justin a shit.
Nah. Anyway, I belong to 50 different groups, and most of them are buy swap style groups, right? It's where you go to look for bargains, or you want to offload books during sales or something like that. And I was lucky enough to find 2015, 16, 17, find a little bit of that spark in Longbox and find a little bit of that spark in Comic League Australia, where you get to know people and there's banter. And for me, it felt like it was kind of a cyclic thing. It comes and goes in those groups because the people move on, because it's dominated by sales and purchases and all that type of shit. And with sales and purchases usually comes emotion and politics. And I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to create a group where there's no emotion and politics for buying and selling. and just concentrate on celebrating what you love. So I created Grail Hunters, which is essentially just a spot for a community of like-minded people who just can, hang out, talk about comics, and your Grail's your Grail, right? A lot of people say, "Oh, I can't afford Amazing Fantasy 15," but one of my favorite Grails in my entire collection is Justice League International 1, which is a $90 comic signed. So it's about the perspective and perception of what those Grails are. It's not just throwing money around or whipping your penis out. It's really about saying, hey man, I like this, who else does, let's chat about it, do you have that, I've got this. And it's also a little bit of a show and tell. Like, you can celebrate books you find along the way. When you pick up scores, everybody loves having that marketplace score or that Gumtree score or that eBay score where you get, you've got value in it and it's big books and stuff like that, but you didn't pay the retail. So it's about celebrating that, and also people helping each other out. Like, there's so many new collectors wanting to know, where do I find pricing? How do I know what grades mean? What type of slabs are there? All those usual questions that we take for granted because we've been in the industry for a while. Not everybody's got that, but the benefit of having Grail Hunters is it's a supportive community where people help each other out and they learn from each other. I'm never going to say that I know everything, but what I can say is the things I know I'm willing to share. And I think that mentality that most people have is what's going to translate back into the group, because everybody supports that and it just builds itself up. I'm not the person driving it, if you know what I mean. I created it, but I'm not that driver anymore. Everybody looks after it.
Yeah. Whack asked, are you the ones that did the Old Man Rufus slab? You were, weren't you?
Yes, yeah, correct. Yeah. So on the Old Man Rufus Kickstarter, I worked with Darren, and we did the Old Man Rufus slabs.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We did the Semplify ones as well. They're currently being graded.
Yeah. Awesome. So how did you get to making your own labels at Halo? And I don't know if there are any Americans or people around the world watching this show, but they might one day if they look back on this. Halo is the Australian slabbing company or person that does it here, as opposed to CGC. Yeah. And other
so like Grant with Halo has got 20 plus years experience, right? Ex comic shop owner, knows how to grade, and that's the important part. If you got the grading right, everything else is whatever. And for me, the fact that he understands that and he knows what quality means in terms of grading, the slab and everything else is the end product. So I support him and I get a lot of it done. And because of the relationship I created with him over the years, I just said, look, I want to create this group called Grail Hunters, and with Grail Hunters comes people and collectors with buying power, and we want to be able to go to creators and say, can you sign our books? Which means I'm likely going to have group submissions of 20 or 30 or 40, or Tom Taylor was 150 books, right? And with that comes the opportunity to say, let's make it look and feel a little bit different to represent Grail Hunters, because I'm bringing that and funneling it through to him. And he was open to it from day one, man. From day one, he's like, I'll give you all the power in terms of that. So we do the right thing, get the book, send it to him. He grades it. He sends me the grades. We serialize it because everything's got original serial numbers and documented. And then I just grade the labels and the pretty pictures around it, and I send it to him. So I send it to him, and it's pretty, man. I don't know if you guys have seen the Grail Hunters ones. They're usually 140 gram GSM, gloss stock, presents really well, non-reflective, which is also really nice. And it's just a good point of difference, because those slabs represent a point in time or an event or a creator that stands out in your experience of Grail Hunters. So that's why we've done it. And I think last time I checked, I've done about 2,300 slabs by Grail Hunters.
Oh, geez, really?
Yeah. Wow.
I pack a lot of comics. I just finished doing 50 labels yesterday for the most recent Tom Taylor submission. So yeah, it does keep you busy, man.
Yeah, man. So what makes you decide to, let's say, label a beer, Grail Hunters? I think I know.
Yeah. So there's three things in my life that I am passionate about: beer, comics, and music. And we usually play with Alana, my partner. We usually play the game of what's the top 3? Which one will you eliminate if you had to eliminate one? And I always end up saying, I'd rather be an alcoholic than read comics, or I'd rather have music than read comics. So what happens with a group is you've got that mutual influence where other people are like, hey, you read comics, let's go for a beer. And then during the discussions, you're like, oh, we like beers, we like IPAs, we like pale ales, tropical ales, craft breweries. And you have that natural spark and connection with people in the group where organically you create those friendships where you've got something in common beyond comics. And all of a sudden, it's a real friendship. It's not a platonic over email or over Facebook friendship anymore. And we were just joking about saying, oh, let's do a beer with Grail Hunters label called Near Mint or something. And I just got the opportunity to do it. And I said, well, let's do it. Let's take a chance. And because it's not mass production. I'm not sitting on a warehouse of Grail Hunters beers. It's really easy to be able to say, and I'm always open, man. I'm like, this is how much it costs if you want to opt in, and I'll just order everything and I'll get it delivered to you. And that's how we did it. And the beers were the same, the skateboards were the same, the t-shirts, hoodies, caps, all that type of stuff. It just comes organically because of the group wanting to be part of that community. And I'm just really lucky enough to represent the brand that is that community.
Yeah, beauty. It's exactly the same sort of mission statement that I had with Aussie Omnibus Collectors, and it seems to have worked. I mean, I don't think we're up to the level that Grail Hunters is at, but we're all getting there slowly. And
for sure, man.
I met Mark through your group, I think, and he's an absolute legend. I love that guy. He's the one that I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that through omnibuses. And it's funny, because my boss at work, he's got his own company that does candles, and I've been buying them off him for the last 6 months. Every time I want to give Claudia something nice, because it's not just candles, but they do candles with like crystals, and they do like big citronella ones as well. They do all sorts of jewelry. They do all sorts of stuff. And he says to me, mate, I don't know if you'd be interested, but we can actually start branding our own candles here. AussieVerse Candles. They smell beautifully like comics and sweat, but that doesn't mean they have to smell like that, because if you go to this website, Metaphysical Moments, you will see that you can actually make your own candles there. You can brand them however you want. That's right, you can have Grail Hunters candles. You can make them any sort of scent. They're hand poured in Victoria, organically scented, vegan as well, and created with the most delightful scents and custom labels. Go check out Metaphysical Moments and order your candles now. Anybody that wants the AussieVerse ones, please hit me up. I will give these to you, send them to you. And no, they don't actually smell like comics and sweat. This smells like, I don't know, my palate's not that good. But carrying on, Neville.
I was just going to say, I probably smell like comics and sweat, so I can set fire to myself.
So what else you got in the pipeline for Grail Hunters?
Oh, look, obviously San Diego's back this year. We've got a few things up our sleeve to go back there and attend. And literally, I get withdrawal syndrome, right? I think it would have been my 10th year in a row had COVID not screwed our lives up for a little bit. But my intention is going back there this year, but going back there this year with an awesome message around Australian comics that I'm currently working on. I don't want to give too much away, but I can tell you it's some of the anchors of Bronze Age comics and comic creators in Australia that's partaking in it. Beyond that, what else am I doing? Doing the player versus player. Do you remember the trump cards from when you were kids, where you've got the motorbikes and the cars? So I'm busy working on a set of those, 32 to 40 of them, but with Killaroo and Dark Nebula and Australian comics on there. So it acts as a introduction to the comics and the characters, and people can get to know them without having to go buy the comics, but also spike the interest to say, well, this looks like an awesome character because it's got the powers, the history, the bio, the website where you can get them, all that type of stuff on the cards, and hopefully that just generates organically the cross-pollination of interest. Because I've always been passionate about local creators and local comics, and I think there's a really good fit there to be had. To have something like that, where it's a game, it looks good because it's got amazing art, it's got characters that you kind of know, some you don't, but at the same time, it's a stepping stone to something else that you might not have actually been interested in before.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
those are two of the big ones. I've got t-shirts and hoodies coming probably in Thursday. I've got about 60 t-shirts and 60 hoodies coming. Grail Hunters, our second run. So hopefully we'll be bumping into each other at comic conventions and awkwardly shake hands because we're wearing the same clothes. It already happened at Supernova, so it's always great because it's also an opportunity to actually find people that's on the group that you might have an avatar of Spider-Man or something. You don't know what they look like, but you see the shirt, you're like, oh, Grail Hunter's shirt. Oh, okay, cool. We're in the same group. This is me, and it's a great way to expand that community spirit again.
I remember you guys doing the whole pointing meme.
Yeah, that's it. That was at the Yarraville Comic Fair. That was really good because there were three of us wearing the same outfit with the Grail Hunters t-shirts and caps. We were like, oh, we got to do this. It was fate. Yeah.
I got a question for Neville. So everyone's got their comfort food. What would be your comfort beer? What is the beer that you just know that you're going to be okay with?
Like, if you've ever listened to our podcast, we don't finish an episode without finishing a bunch of these. And we're at the point now where Ben and Mike, who co-podcast with me, also drink these. So we go through quite a bit of them, whether we're face-to-face or online via Zoom when we're recording podcasts. So Kaiju Crush Tropical Ale, it's my comfort beer, but it's also the best beer if you want to have 20 on a Monday.
Yeah. I've had a few of them.
I'm not going to say I have a problem. I have an opportunity because there's more in the fridge.
Yeah. Sweet. Also, too, like, obviously we've touched on, too, like, what are your early experiences that sort of got you into this sort of stuff, like reading, wanting to add this group and...
Yeah, so for me, like, I've always read comics, and it's probably started with my parents being nice enough to just buy me comics as a kid, and kind of deliver it to me on my lap. And without thinking, I just assumed all kids just get comics when you yes, we can talk about Will Smith slaving camera. But it was very organic in that sense. And so by the time I started getting money and I could go buy my own, I used to go to the cafes in South Africa. They had spinner racks, so I just go and pick comics off the spinner racks. But back then you didn't know that there was series and the numbers were sequential and all that type of shit that you need to know. You actually buy it because the cover's cool, you like the characters, you read the comic, and if you're lucky, you get part 2 at the next cafe a month from now. So reading for me was very organic to the point where I got grown up, and I was grown up enough, and I went to like newsagents, and I realized it comes out every month, and you can 4 weeks from now the next issue will be here, and that was around X-Men 4, First Appearance of Mega Red. That was my first off the shelf new comic. Before that, it was always like 4 or 5 months old in cafes in South Africa. So that was my reading experience, and it's a different level of excitement because for me at that point in time, I was just reading DC. So that was also my first Marvel comic I ever bought. But in terms of collecting and investing, because I've always thought of the fact that you're sitting on a lost opportunity if you know the market and the characters and the comics and you're taking advantage of it. It's like saying I know the stock market, but I don't trade. So what I did around 2017, I got lucky at a garage sale and I bought a short box of comics for about $200, and they were worth probably about 7,000-8,000 at the time. And I'm like, well, I'm going to keep the ones I don't have, sell the ones I do, and then use the money to buy more comics. And that's literally how it started. So I kept the Hulk 181s and the first Kingpins and that type of stuff. But the energy and the endorphins that's released when you actually hit something big like that for relatively low value in terms of the money you spend, it lasts 3 months. Because for that next 3 months, you're going to be like, there's Sabretooth in there, there's Hulk in there, there's Iron Fist in there, and all their first appearances, I got it for next to nothing. So I want to keep that feeling going. So I want to keep hunting. And that's when the hunting started. Like I'd go to and ask Alana and Mike Speakman, who's my co-podcast, we'll just have a sniff of comics and we'll be in the car driving 300 Ks to go and look at comics in the shed. Sometimes they don't pay off, sometimes you break even, and sometimes you just score big. And I've got really good big stories, and I've got really funny bad stories where you end up spending money on bullshit.
You're forever looking for your Grail. so
Oh,
to
that's
speak.
it, man. That's it.
Yeah.
So, and when it started, I set myself the target saying I want to own all the first appearances in Marvel, purely because I wasn't a Marvel guy, and it was a good initiative for me to actually get to know Marvel while I'm going. And I started with the easy ones, and I worked my way up, and I started filling the holes and stuff. So at the moment, I'm probably obviously a few short still, but um, just keeping that focus and understanding that you are chasing something and looking for that one or two things that's eluding you is really exciting.
Yeah.
And the last thing I want to do is fucking pay retail. So I'll keep going.
Chasing the
Chasing the
dragon.
dragon. Exactly. It's chasing the dragon.
One of the things that I loved Grail Hunters did was, it was at least 2 years ago, maybe 3. I don't know if it was yourself, Neville. It probably was. But one of the admins came up with an idea of asking every member, what are your 3 grails that you want to try and get?
Yeah. Our Grail pulleys. It's like dead pulleys. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I felt so I don't know what the right term is. Maybe not insecure, but like small, because as you know, I get everything in omnibus and collected editions. So my single issues are like minimal compared to these guys. But there was 2 issues that I really always wanted to get, and I went, you know what, I want to contribute, I want to play. So I put my name down, and it was the Venom Lethal Protector Gold #1, and another one was the Spider-Man 9/11 cover. And I remember the whole year went by. I think it was 2020. The whole year went by, and I didn't get them. Meanwhile, I'm seeing Michael and Jake and all these people get their grails, right? And then finally, I got a copy of that Spider-Man 9/11. Very low grade, but I got it. So I got to put a tick on my name. And
That's it, man.
And then I got that Venom Gold one. And I
Did
went,
you get
yes!
the Venom Gold? Yeah, nice.
I was complete. And then he did it again in 2021, and I went, mate, I've got nothing now.
I'm all out.
Yeah.
So we've been doing it every year, and I thought about taking this year off, and people are like, no, we got to keep it, man, because can I promise you the benefit of that is, as much as it's fun and anxiety ridden, it keeps you focused.
Yeah.
It reminds you that you want to buy these books because you're passionate about it.
Yeah.
All of us, I'm guilty, Bo. I'm sure you're guilty too, man. We get to that point where, like, you want to buy something, it's $800. You've only got 600 in your PayPal, so you blow it somewhere else. You don't save the extra 200 to buy the $800 book, right? You actually end up buying something you just kind of want because it's 600 and you can afford it. So for me, the intention of Grail Pulleys was always to say, keep that focus. It's a 12-month thing. It's not a race. It's a marathon. You've got 12 months to get there, and by the time you get at the end of it, let's see if you got it. And you can always, there's always next year, man. I think since 2019, I've had all my grails twice, and I've had like one last year, purely because the market changes, right? Fantastic Four was #1 was on mine at the start of the year, and by the end of the year, it tripled in value. I'm like,
and that's the thing as well. Anybody that is interested in joining Grail Hunters Australia, don't let the name or the feeling of needing to be as getting all the grails turn you off, because I've seen new members come in that really, you know, they're new readers and they really don't know much about comics. They're really, really new. Stefan Karam, for example, I saw this kid come in there, and he puts up a post saying, what's more important, this one or this one? And people give honest answers about what's more monetary value. But the other members also turn around and they go, mate, which one do you want more? You know, they actually help this kid. And I've seen it happen a lot. There's no dick swinging, you know, about,
despite the big books that go out, posted there aren't a lot of people saying, look at the size of my dick. There's not. All right. And if it happens, it's usually a character thing rather and it happens. But most of the time, 99% of the time, it's really an engaged community who support each other. And regardless of where you are in your collecting, whether you're entry level or you're chasing runs or anything like that, people are always willing to help out. The benefit, again, like I'm saying, like I might be the admin of it, but I'm not running it anymore. And as much as I'm chasing these big books, I only just finished Secret Wars 1 to 12 for the first time ever in my life. I've got all 12 in December. And it's purely because of people in the group, because I said I haven't read it before because I don't own them. And then people are like, I've got this one for $40, this one's $7. I drove to Steve Soul's house, I picked up one of his, and it's great because people support each other in actually getting to that outcome without trying to just say cash in because it's a buy-sell group, because we're not a buy-sell group.
Yeah.
Mark, do you have any Grails out there? Because you still get single issues.
I do. Lately, I've been trying to chase up a few of the Demon Knights, the new 52, Etrigan sort of series, but I found the first 3 or 4 issues of that. Alternate Worlds is really good for back issues. So
yeah, but you can't access them. You have to go online, right?
Yeah.
I'd love to go there and just dig in the boxes, but it's all cordoned off.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's usually a bit of a hassle for them if you ask them to do that. They'd rather you go online, I think.
Yeah.
Just for a few stories I've heard, but
yeah. Oh yeah, it's also I've had orders cancelled after I placed it with them. I'm not gonna throw shade, but yeah, it's weird buying from them where you buy something and it's cancelled and then it's there again, but it's higher priced, and it's like it's too hard basket. And because the ordering's not real time, you place the order and a week later they'll send you an email. It's just a weird process.
Yeah, and they
I love them
give you
though.
your bank details or something like that, and then you've got to put it in their bank. And I was confused when I first brought.
It was more convoluted buying weed in the 90s. Compared to that, it's just like, do you need my thumbprint? What's happening? But yeah, it is weird.
They do have a good range.
Back when they were in Chapel Street in the 90s, I used to frequent them. I was there 2-3 days a week, and they used to have these quarterly sales where they bring boxes out onto trestle tables, and you just go through them, and they're all $1 comics or whatever. It was amazing. I think All Star does it at the moment, where they'll just have those back issue sales. It's great, but it's also great because they build that culture with the staff.
Yeah.
Whereas now you don't have that anymore. You've got the shop front, and you've got the online store, which is a bit detached, and there's no human aspect to it.
Yeah, 100%. So what other hobbies do you have outside of comics, Neville?
Sorry, say that again.
What sort of hobbies do you have outside of comics?
Do you have time for anything else? I eat meat. I eat a lot of meat, and I make a lot of dried meat, if that helps. So yeah, a few times a week I'll just put the barbecue on for 5 or 6 or 7 hours at a time. That keeps me out of trouble. It's always cheaper to hang out at home with my friends than go and get lost in Brunswick, which I always like doing, but it's not great. Comics, toys, man. I tell you, it's purely because of Ben G on our podcast too. Like Ben and Mike, by the way, they're probably protesting outside Facebook at the moment for you guys inviting me and not them. They're calling me the Robbie Williams of Take That because you invited me and not them. Just throwing it out there.
It's because I've met you and I've spoken to you before. I haven't spoken to those guys before.
It's also because I'm so much cooler than them. Come on, watch this thing. Thank you. No, so yeah, we touch on our podcast. The intent of our podcast is to be a wide range of collectibles. I'm sure you guys get that too. And Ben's always been the nostalgia toy guy, right? Since day one. And I go to his house, and that's why I'm like, dude, you need to be on my podcast because you've got this whole world that I'm not exposed to. And because he's on our podcast, he keeps sending me marketplace listings of shit that he knows that I want. So all of a sudden, I am buying more toys sometimes than I buy comics in a month. There's toys on my pool table at the moment. There's toys in my entrance in green Woolies bags by the front door. I've got toys in the garage in plastic crates, and I've got toys in this room. And most of them are either stuff I liked collecting as a kid that I just want to recoup and actually fill up my collection again. And a lot of it is actually just new stuff that I started collecting now for the first time because I haven't bought toys in probably 15, 20 years. But in the last 2 years, stuff like the Killer bootlegs. But I'm not sure if you've seen me post Phantom Star Killer toys and stuff like that. It's brand new, but it's that nostalgia from the early 80s where they just take advantage of bright yellow neon colors, and the characters are pure rip-offs of Skeletor, and it's just great. It's so well done. So guys like these comics and Brendan and them just help me out because he's got a great relationship with them. So he funnels the toys into Canberra and sends me boxes of like 6 or 7 at a time. And I just buy it straight off him. And then obviously He-Man and Masters of the Universe with the new TV shows, all the new stuff that comes in. I just jump on that. So I've got more toys and right there, I don't know if you guys can see, I've got a whole bunch of custom Lego figures for Masters of the Universe and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And they're all custom made because they've never been produced. So I've got 16 of the Masters of the Universe and 7 of the Turtles figures. They're pretty cool.
Awesome, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I find stuff to fill the house with, and that's why I need to build a bigger house.
Mark, last question, mate. It's all yours.
Okay. I guess what sort of more relationships have you gotten from starting this Facebook group of like close friends that you sort of speak to every day? What's the process?
I'll give you a good example of what Grail Hunters have created, and it's not just for me because I think we all experienced that. Probably 3-4 years ago, Andre Brookhuizen came to Melbourne, and he was met with a lot of the Grail Hunters guys that he's only ever met online, and we all had a few beers and hung out. After that, I had a catch up with Paul Verbarkel and Jeff Kerrigan, and we got to know each other, and now we're friends. Like we hang out every weekend, or every weekend we have an opportunity. We go for beers and we go for barbecues or whatever. At the start of this year, I flew to Brisbane and we went to Black Ops Brewery, and there were like 10 Grail Hunters people. Like we all just had a catch up and hung out. I met Tom Drury. I stayed over at Mike Swindles' house. I didn't steal any of his comics. That's how much I like him. And it's the second time I stayed over at his house. That's probably why he let me back. So really, it for me, it's about creating those relationships. And I keep telling Alona, like, now that COVID's over and stuff, we want to just do a road trip. Literally get in the fucking car and drive from here around to Canberra, around to Sydney, around to Brisbane, and just stop over at people and have a drink or go out and have a meal and stuff like that, because you meet so many amazing people in the group that just help you out. Like fucking Wayne Bryan sent me amazing smoked macadamia honey. It's like, dude, this is amazing. And it's purely because I posted on his Facebook page when he relocated a bee's nest, and he sends me this honey that I'm eating by the spoon, and I can feel myself going like, he says it's healthy, so who knows? Maybe he just wants to inherit my collection. But my point is, like, everywhere you go, you'll have a footprint of that community. Whether I go to South Australia, like Gavin McLean, Gavin the Grump on the pages, just literally drove 40 minutes to go get books for me in regional South Australia to ship it back to me last week. So the community that you create is something that's going to outlive Grail Hunters, I promise you. And that's what makes it amazing.
That is amazing. Well, mate, in all honesty, I could sit here and talk to you for another hour, but, we've got to call it quits at some point, don't we?
At my age, my bladder hasn't got an hour, so I was just going to walk off if you had another question.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here at AussieVerse. We really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. We need to get those subscriptions up so that we can make it worth your while for watching us, and we can do giveaways and things like that. We are just over 300. Let's get to 400, and we can see where we go from there. Instagram, AussieVerse Comics and Collectors. We will have all the links in the comments for where you can find Mark and myself and Neville on Instagram. We will also have the Grail Hunters link there, so in case anybody does want to join, feel free. This has been fantastic, Neville. Thank you very much.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, guys. I'd love to come back before Ben or Mike does. Just Yes, I can.
More than
But at the
welcome.
same time, Mark, I still need to talk music to you, man. If Trivium's your favorite band, I'm sure we have a lot in common.
Yeah, love Trivium, man.
Sounds good,
We are
man.
going to be doing some music episodes actually coming up. So, look, I'll speak for both of us. Nev, you are more than welcome to come back anytime. We do the show every Monday, so anytime you want to come on, feel free, mate.
Cool stuff, man. Thanks so much.
We'll see each other soon. Everybody, thank you very much. We will see you next week. Same spider time, same spider channel, same spider everything. AussieVerse for life.